Hi guys, this is Wizard1 Canada again, bringing you the full review of the Bluboo Maya Max 4G phablet that I purchased from GearBest for 160 US. I've been using it for a week and I'm going to give you my overall impressions of it. So overall I've been quite happy with the quality of this phone. It feels nice in the hand to hold. The case comes with it is really nice. The fingerprint sensor is very responsive. Oops, sorry, let me just quickly get over there. Okay, so there are some minor issues with the phone which technically can be fixed with software update, but we'll get into that later in the review. So I'm not going to really go much into the specs as I ran through them during my unboxing review, but here you can see the actual specs of it. Okay, I'm going to probably mention the specs as I go through the review as well. So one of the biggest concerns that people have with Chinese smartphones in general is whether or not it has reception problems. I'm very happy to report that with I'm on Fido and I get very strong 4G reception, or else I get a 3G HSPA plus speeds. Let me just quickly turn off my Wi-Fi first. So I would expect the same with Bell, Telus, and whatnot because they have the same frequency of support. If you don't believe me, let me just quickly run some speed tests for you. Oops, that's not it. Get over there, speed tests. So I'm on 4G right now. I'm not using Wi-Fi, I'm just 4Ging. Okay, so that was the results I got, which is consistent. I'll show you the previous results I've tested with this phone. For some reason, the up speed is a lot slower this time, but you can see that I ran speed tests on September 23rd. I got this type of speed. I got consistent speeds on September 25th. Not sure exactly why it's lower now. Maybe it's network congestion, I don't know. One more other thing I wanted to show, if you still don't you're not convinced of the speeds, let's quickly run a live stream of the live ALDS game 1 between the Red Sox and the Indians. So let me just quickly do this and do that.
His first postseason career at bat, a home run off Rick Porcello. Describe that moment.
Oh, unbelievable feeling. I think before the game, I was talking to Napoli. He had a lot of experience in the playoffs,
so you can see So you can see that overall the speed that it can handle is fast enough that I can run high def live streams of the baseball game, that live baseball game. You can see here that the screen has very nice viewing angles and it's very sharp. The images on it is very sharp and smooth, which brings me to the screen itself. I'm extremely satisfied with the quality of this sharp HD 720p display. Originally I had reservations on this phone because 720p on a large 6-inch display would look quite bad, and a lot of people said that it would probably be very bad, but as you can see from the live stream, the playback is really sharp and clear on the screen. It's very nice. This phone also supports a very sensitive Wi-Fi sensor, which allows me to pick up Wi-Fi signals that I typically would not be able to pick up during work, and I can pick up other people's Wi-Fi. A lot of other Chinese phones out there have problems with that. Next look is at the camera. So the camera itself is supposed to have a 13 megapixel back-facing Sony IMX214 sensor. and 8 megapixel IMX 214 sensor on the front. Overall, the quality of the pictures taken with the phone is acceptable. It's obviously not the greatest, but I'll let you see some examples. Okay, you can see here that pictures are mostly clear when you take the pictures with the phone. However, if you zoom in, the details sometimes just isn't there. Sometimes it is, sometimes there isn't. Let's do another picture here. So this is a picture of a 20-ounce rib steak that I had tonight, and you can see it's okay. It's not the greatest, but it's okay. This is at the keg, and if most of you know the keg, the lighting conditions aren't the greatest in there. It's usually really dark in there. Okay, so here's a, let me just turn this up. Okay, so here's a picture I took in a better lit environment. This is at an LCBO. If you zoom in, the picture is still really clear. Yeah, so overall the pictures are still acceptable, especially with the lighting conditions as it is. I can't really expect much, as this is a mid-range and not a high-end smartphone. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is the 4200 milliamp hour SONY battery. My test with running this phone, it gives me about 12 hours of straight usage before getting down to about 10 to 15% of battery life. This is with me running GPS or Waze for navigation. I'm usually running Wi-Fi all the time, except for when I leave the office, and then I switch over to my 4G, Bluetooth, and various games and apps I run in the foreground and the background. I'm sure if I touch the phone much less than I actually do during the day, I can probably stretch the battery life beyond a day. But overall, in terms of the battery, I'm very pleased with its performance. However, sometimes they say it has quick charging. It does charge relatively quickly when it's very low. However, sometimes it stalls or it becomes somewhat slow for some unknown reason. That doesn't really matter too much for me, because this phone, as I said before, lasts me basically the entire day. So the only time I'm really charging this phone is basically when I go to bed, and I plug it in when I go to bed. Okay, so next thing I want to talk about is the actual performance of the phone. It runs MediaTek's newest CPU. It's the MT6750. It's an octa-core processor running at 1.5 gigahertz. Previously, I ran a Antutu benchmark on the phone and got about 40,900 score. After installing, so let me see, I installed, you can see here, I've installed many apps. I have a whole whack load of stuff running in the background. Yet when I ran the benchmark again, where is it? I ran the benchmark again recently. I actually got a higher score, which is completely beyond me, but I got a higher score of 41,763. I'm going to run it now again for you guys, just to show you that I'm not actually like using anything to cheat. So let me just quickly just run the test again. Okay, so while the benchmark is actually running, I wanted to just touch on a few other things. Let me just find something to prop this up so you can just see this. Okay, so while that's being propped up, I'd like to address some issues that I found with this device. So first of all, it's that while it doesn't really happen often, the phone sometimes gets stuck in portrait mode even though auto rotate is enabled. The only fix at the moment is to reboot the device. It's annoying, but like I said, it doesn't happen often. Many people have mentioned this on Bluboo's official forums as well as elsewhere. Hopefully they will. It should be a software fix for it, so hopefully they fix that soon. The other problem I have with it is more of a pet peeve of mine, and it's the fact that when Bluboo designed the Maya Max, they did think of, so if I plug power into this device, hopefully it does, okay, you see here, there's an LED that blinks, a green LED that blinks. So they thought enough into the design to put an LED on the phone, which activates when the phone is plugged into a power source. It blinks when it's charging and it stays solid when it's fully charged. Yet, for whatever reason beyond me, this is the only thing that the LED is used for. It's not used for anything else. I don't know why. I would have preferred that it be used as a notification LED. Hopefully, I've made a suggestion to Bluboo to somehow in their next system update to maybe enable it. I'm not sure if this is, but from my understanding, it should be completely software based. However, I did try using Light Flow, I believe the app is called, to try to see if I can trigger the notification light in various colors and whatnot, and I could not get it to really work. I don't know why, but hopefully Bluboo comes with the Bluboo really comes up with a fix for that. So it's almost finished loading. Well, not almost, but halfway finished. Let's give it a little more time. So while this is running, I'm just going to talk about one more quick thing. I actually find that a dedicated mute button on the device is something very handy to have. Where is it? It is a little stiffer than I would like in terms of activating it and not activating it. Like right now it's stuck. Oops. Right now it's stuck, but I could get it. So overall, it is very good. It is very handy, especially if I have the phone in my pocket and I need to mute it like a ninja without having to really take it out and bring attention to myself. If for some reason I forget to mute it and some of my notifications go off, my alarms go off, I get a text message or email or whatnot. So it is definitely a good thing to have, and I do like this feature. It's not a feature really often found on Chinese smartphones, but it is very convenient. Okay, so still running the benchmark here. Oh, one other thing I noticed, or not really noticed, but one thing I'm very happy with, it did come with basically one pre-installed screen protector and a case. I had actually purchased a glass screen protector and another case directly from GearBest when I bought this phone, but for some unknown reason of mine, they shipped the orders separately. I did ask them to combine it, but for some reason they shipped them separately and I still haven't received it yet. But I'm happy with that. Some people did mention to me that apparently the screen cover and the case were actually bonus gifts that they threw in for people who pre-ordered. I haven't really asked anyone else to see who've bought it recently whether or not it actually comes with those, but the way the box is designed, it looks like it's supposed to come with those. Okay, it's lower this time. Anyways, you saw previously when I did the when I showed you the screen before I started doing the test at a score of 41,000 and whatnot. This time is coming down with 39,330, which still isn't a huge drop from its score of 40,900 when I initially set it up. But you can see here I am running a lot of stuff. I'm running Clash Royale. I have my sports fitness band in the background. I do have a lot of other stuff running in the background, which might be why it's not giving me as good as results as it did previously. Okay, and you saw that I installed a lot more apps, whatnot, on the phone. Okay, so that now that that's done, I wanted to just quickly show the performance as well as the beauty of the screen at the same time. So I'm going to run my standard test, which is Asphalt. So you can see it loads pretty quickly. Let me quickly just turn on some sound. Sorry about that, I'm just going to quickly just run some stuff here. Holy crap, this is taking long. Well, you can still see the quality of the screen at least. Great. Close that off. Okay. Okay. Oh, I'm getting smoked. Oh wow, I'm really doing horrible this time. If you've seen my other videos, I actually do pretty well on this off my game tonight. Okay, I got too much into this, but yep, you saw the quality of that. The screen quality is very nice. The performance is really good, and we're talking about a phablet with a full 6-inch screen, so it is pretty nice. One thing I just forgot to mention here is that opposed to many other Chinese smartphones out there, where do I go? So most Chinese smartphones out there don't really, like, the screen's small enough, like you're looking about 5.5 inches maximum, maybe usually 5-inch screens. So one feature that this phone has that most phones don't have is, so this phone actually has true 10 point, I guess, what do you call this, 10-point touch. So I can show you. So 2, 4, 6, 8, oh crap, 10. You can see 10. Can you see 10? So it actually can support detection of all 10 fingers at once. So that's pretty good. So you can see, oh shit, okay, yeah. So it can really pick up 10 fingers. Obviously, if you have a phone with a small screen, that doesn't really matter. You're not going to be able to fit 10 fingers on it. But again, with a true 6-inch phablet here, it can be useful. I guess in other games or apps you might use. The last thing I really want to talk about is the speaker and sound on this phone. Someone on my YouTube channel actually commented and asked me to specifically test the sound for them to see whether or not the sound is good. So first of all, I want to mention to you is that although it's a trend that they make dual grills on these phones, but in actuality there's only one speaker on it, and the one is a dummy. No sound actually comes out of it. It's only that one speaker. So having said that, Bluboo states in the specs that they use an NXP speaker, which is supposed to give you a really nice quality of sound. So let's quickly play some music and let you hear the quality for yourself. Maybe find something with deep bass first, and then we'll play something more with more sharper sounds. Let's see. So that's that. Let me find something that won't trigger Google's what is it called? Google's detection for songs, which will basically ban my video from online play. Okay, you're not going to understand it, but I'm going to play a Chinese song to let you hear the range of the sounds. Okay, was that full blast? Yes, that's a full blast. So sound quality is actually pretty good on this device. It gives great bass as well as very clear and sharp trebles. Overall, it's very good. So in review, this phone for a price of just over $200 US, which works out to originally I think it's $160 US. This phone is a real winner in my books. I'm probably going to be continue using this until if I choose to buy a flagship phone in the future, then I might change it. But right now with a 6-inch screen, I've never used a 6-inch screen, and I've come to enjoy using a 6-inch screen. It offers great large screen with excellent sharp colors and excellent viewing angles. It has a kick-ass 4,200 milliamp hour battery, which basically allows me to power through a typical workday without the need to having to charge it. Overall, the performance isn't flagship, but it still isn't entry level either. As you can see, it runs everything I possibly need smoothly and quickly. The onboard camera isn't the greatest, but it's still acceptable and if you have decent lighting conditions. Lastly, the sound quality of this phone is just great. Oh, one thing I want to mention, for anyone who is planning to use this phone for something like Pokemon Go, it does run Pokemon Go perfectly fine. However, for some reason, either the software or however it's implemented, it doesn't support the AR, which isn't really a big deal for me because AR just kills the battery anyways. I just use whatever default is to catch my Pokemon. Besides that, I think that's really about it. The sound quality is great. I would really recommend this phone to anyone who doesn't need flagship specs but doesn't also want to compromise on performance. It's great for, I guess, older people too who need larger screens. Not saying I'm old or not, but yeah. So this has been Wizard One Canada. Thanks for watching. If you like this review, please kindly subscribe and give me the thumbs up, as this channel helps me financially to support me to buy more products to review. Thanks again for watching and have a great night.